Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be doing the Under the Influence book tag. This was created by the wonderful Olive over at A Book Olive and I was very kindly tagged by Harriet Rosie, and I'll have both of their channels linked down below. You should totally check out their channels if you're not already subscribed to them. But this tag is basically all about how your experiences on BookTube have influenced and shaped your reading life. There are a bunch of interesting questions, so I'm just going to get straight into them. The first question sort of has like two parts to it. So the first part is a fantastic book that you read off the recommendation of another booktuber, and it's kind of hard to just pick one book for this because like 90% of the books that I decide to put on my bookish wish list come from other booktubers talking about them in their videos. But I think probably one that I wouldn't have picked up if it hadn't been spoken about so widely on BookTube would be The Tidal Zone by Sarah Moss. I think the cover of this book probably wouldn't have drawn me in. I'm a big believer in the fact that you can judge a book by its cover. You know, covers are created to appeal to the type of person who the contents of the book might appeal to, and I probably wouldn't have picked up The Tidal Zone based on that cover. A bunch of people whose opinions I really respect, like Lauren over at Lauren in the Books, have raved about this book, and that's why I picked it up. And the second part of this question is the opposite of that. So a book that you were turned off reading based on another booktuber's opinion. And I'm actually going to talk about a book that Harriet turned me off reading, which was Nod by Adrian Barnes. And this is like a dystopian kind of book that I had on my bookshelf. I'm not gonna lie, I accidentally stole it from an ex-boyfriend. Like, this was years ago, and like when we split up, I guess like that book just ended up mixed up with all of my books. Genuinely wanted to read it. I had every intention of reading it, but just hearing Harriet talk about how much she didn't like it just really put me off. And the more I heard about it, the more I was like, I don't think this book will give me anything of value. Like, I don't think I'll learn anything from it. I don't think it's gonna bring me any enjoyment. So I ended up unhauling it. The next question is, has BookTube opened your mind to any genres? And I think like probably thrillers is the one that comes to mind. I've never been someone who was particularly ashamed of reading any sort of genres or anything like that, but I think with thrillers I had this kind of idea about the genre that it was just filled with the same plots regurgitated over and over again. I thought it was quite a hyper masculinized genre. BookTube has definitely broadened my horizons and shown me that there is a lot of stuff within the genre that I would enjoy as well. Question 3 is, how much time did you spend on YouTube before you discovered BookTube, and has that changed now? I was really into YouTube like growing up when I was a teenager. I watched a lot of the like UK vloggers, watched a lot of Jack and Dean, I watched Hannah Witten quite a lot, I watched Lex Croucher's stuff, I watched Rosianna's videos, and there are people that I still watch now, but I also watched a lot of, I don't want to say crap, but a lot of stuff that like now I wouldn't watch. So like a lot of like English boys try American candy, just like a lot of challenge videos and stuff. Like I would spend hours watching those kinds of videos. Genuinely not sure whether I spend more time watching YouTube videos now than I did like when I was a teenager. I feel like now I probably spend about an hour a day maybe watching BookTube videos. I feel like I must have wasted more time than that before. So I think I probably have the opposite experience to a lot of people. I think a lot of people, since discovering BookTube, have watched a lot more YouTube now. Question 4 is, how many books did you read before BookTube and how many books do you read now? I didn't really track my reading before BookTube. So far this year I have already read over 100 books. I think last year I think I finished on like 106 books in the year. The year before that it was something like 140. And then the year before that, which was 2015, I think I read about 60 books in that year, and I was on BookTube for like half of the year, but really maybe more like a quarter of the year. Before that, I really did not track my reading at all. But if I had to guess, maybe like between 20 and 30 books in the year. And a lot of those would have been rereads as well. BookTube really opened my eyes to my own capabilities when it came to reading. The fact that, you know, there were people that were reading over 100 books a year, and I was like, well, I can do that. Like, I don't think I realised that was possible. Question 5 is, has BookTube influenced your book buying habits? And if so, are you happy about this or are you unhappy about this? Oh, it is massively affected my book buying habits. I'm so much more aware of the writing that's out there. I find out about so many more new books and get so many more recommendations than I did before. But me discovering BookTube also coincided with me having more financial independence than I'd ever had before. I feel like that's probably a factor as well, the fact that I had money. Overall, I'm really happy that I buy a lot more books since discovering BookTube, because it's meant that I have read a lot more fantastic books. In saying that, there is something quite lovely about thinking back on the days when I had like 10 books on my TBR. I don't think I ever want my TBR to be like that again, but it would be nice if it was under 100 books. I'm working on it, lads. I really am. Question 6 is, has a review from a booktuber ever retrospectively changed your opinion on a book? I thought long and hard about this one, and it took me a really long time to think of something, but it's probably going to be The Cursed Child. So I'm very privileged and fortunate in that I got to watch The Cursed Child on stage before I read the script. Stage show is one of the most incredible things that I have ever seen. It is brilliant, and I would love to go and see it again one day. And when I was reading the play script when it came out, that's what was in my head. So I didn't notice the flaws in the script as much as people who were reading the script having not seen the show before. And a bunch of different reviews changed my opinion on this. It made me realise how much queerbaiting was in the show, was in the script. I don't think it came across that way on the stage because of how the actors played it. I don't agree with all the criticism that I heard about this script, but it definitely made me reconsider my own idealized perception of it. Question 7 is, are there any videos that you've been inspired to make after seeing another booktuber's video, and are there any booktubers whose style you are influenced by? So their video style, their like bookshelf organization style, anything. So What the Hell Happened to My Hauls, which, if you don't know, is a series where I try and look back on all of my old hauls and read like old books that I haven't read despite them being on my shelves for years. That's kind of inspired by videos that people like Emma from Drinking by My Shelf have done, and videos like Books and Lala have done. In terms of actual style of videos, I think I'm also quite influenced by what Emma does. Also, in terms of styles of videos, this is something that I struggle with slightly, because I feel like so many people say that the types of videos they enjoy are like really unedited, sit down, chatty videos, and I really like a good jump cut. I really do. I think it's because I'm very influenced by not the booktubers, but like the more general YouTubers that I did watch when I was a teenager. In a way, when making a YouTube video, it feels more natural for me to pause where there would be a jump cut than it does for me to just keep talking. There was a period where I tried to do videos in one take, and I didn't enjoy it. I feel like through trying to be more authentic by doing videos in one take, I was being inauthentic to myself. Like, it felt more like a performance when I was trying to do things in one take than this does. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts that I'm still working through when it comes to like the style of videos that I want to do. Question 8 is, what are some of the pressures that you feel like there are in your reading life because of your booktube channel? Actually reading the books that I say, I'm gonna read this book this month. Like, if I put a book in a TBR or something, I feel like I have to read that. Otherwise, people will notice that I haven't read it, and they will think I'm a fraud, when really, no one cares that much to notice. Sometimes that pressure can be really, really good, and it actually makes me read books that have been sat on my shelves for ages. Like, sometimes that pressure is motivational. But other than that, I don't really feel that much pressure from it, to be honest. Question 9 is, what impact has the social element of being part of BookTube and the bookish community had on your reading life? And do you think about books differently since joining? I really like the fact that when I'm reading a book, it feels so normal for me to take a nice picture of it and put it on my Instagram account. It feels so much more natural to tell people about what I'm reading, whereas before that wasn't something that I did. I'm quite a showy person. I like putting a relatively significant portion of my life on the internet. So I really enjoy the social and community aspects in that way. I think also it has made me realize how somehow the book community is so vast, but it's still really small. Being on BookTube has made me realize how easy it is to get in touch with publishers and get in touch with writers. I have formed really cool friendships with some of my favourite writers because of my BookTube channel. That's so cool! Do I think about books differently? I don't really think so. I think about books differently than I did a few years ago. And I think that's probably partially to do with BookTube, but I think it's also to do with the fact that I did a degree in English literature, and it's to do with the fact that I have had publishing placements, and I'm now doing a publishing MA, and I've learned a lot more about the publishing industry. I don't think it's necessarily a direct result of BookTube that I think about books differently. And the way that I think about them differently is I see far more of the process that has gone into them rather than solely the finished product. So I think a lot more about the cover design of a book and what marketing campaigns have been used to promote that book. And the final question is, what influence do you think your own channel will have on the BookTube community and aspiring booktubers? Oh god, I don't know. It's quite interesting because I have seen like IRL friends start to become more involved in like Bookstagram and like Book Twitter, get more involved with Goodreads, get more involved with BookTube. Probably shown a lot of IRL friends how anyone can do this kind of thing, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I really think about having a particularly large influence on anyone, but I think if what I'm doing makes one person pick up one book that makes them feel something, then that's perfect. All I want to do with my life is help get great books that will influence and touch people and make them think differently into the hands of the people that will really benefit from them. It's all I want from my whole life. It's all I want from my bookish life. It's all I want from this BookTube channel, really. I want to help people find the books that are gonna change their life. I suppose in particular, if I could help people pick up more poetry, then that would mean a lot to me. But apart from that, I'm not really sure what influence or impact I have on this community. This is a pretty small BookTube channel, especially compared to how long I've been doing this. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer this question. So that is it. That is all the questions. I have a feeling this video is probably going to be quite a long one. These are like questions that could almost be entire discussion videos by themselves. Let me know if you have any thoughts on any of my answers. Please share your opinions down below and we can have a little chat. I am going to tag some people. I am going to tag Kate Howe, and I am going to tag Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. So that's it from me for now. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you in my next video.